Okay, I think we're back. Good. Everything looks good. Yeah, video cut off there. I accidentally pulled up a notepad that had a bunch of my crap on it. Something that I shouldn't have opened. So, I had to delete that. With my game maker password on it. I don't want that to get out there. But it did give me enough time to eat a meal real quick and open my previous folders and see or my previous projects, which I learned that because I updated Game Maker, all my projects have been moved over to my C drive instead of my solid state drive. So I got to shuffle a bunch of files around. That was fun. Anyway, I figured out the keyboard shortcuts, hopefully. The music sounded good. Currently editing that video to take out the part on the end of it. Hopefully that doesn't tax my computer too much. Okay, let's get caught back up to where we were though. I checked my my hotkeys. I don't know why they weren't working because I was definitely pushing the right ones. Let's try this again. I think because numlock wasn't on. Turn numlock on and see if that works. There we go. Now it's changing. So that should be that. This one should be that one. Okay, so that, and AFK should be that one. Good. Alright. Alright, nothing there. So, I went into my previous game and I grabbed all the keyboard controls that I was using and I put it in this useful coding tool so I can use it again. But yeah, the keys that I was looking for D, A, S, W, they have a number variable. So yeah, I just could not remember that. I'm gonna turn up this a bit. I noticed my notification sound seemed to be kind of quiet when I got that raid. I didn't even hear it the first time it happened, and I wasn't listening to the sound that Goba makes either. I couldn't hear any of those. I don't know. I need to get something better than this for ear stuff. If I'm not gonna wear the headphones, which I can't, it drives my tinnitus crazy. I'm gonna have to get something that I can put on my shoulders to listen because this just really doesn't work. It's one of the things that I always complain about with streaming, so I should fix it. Okay, anyway, let's fix these things that I was doing here. So, number one step to what we should do here is let's set this stuff up. I think I will use some globals for our keys, and I'll probably put it all in this temp player for now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy and paste this. I'm gonna edit it. This is too much stuff, but this includes like gamepad stuff, which I might end up using. So I might want to have that in here anyway. I'm gonna do all my globals here. Usually I would, in fact, what I should do. Let's just do this. Usually I do like an initialize object, and that's what I'm gonna do here. It's an object when you start a game or reload a game. It runs the initialize object is for the first time you start a game, and reinitialize object is if you reload the game or something. And this is usually what I use to like set up all my global variables and stuff. So we'll do it that way because it's a little cleaner, and it makes it easy to find this stuff. Initialize. So this is a better way to do this. Throw those there, and I'm gonna get this global facing. I'm gonna throw that in there too, so that I'm not creating globals with objects that may or may not be in the scene. Initialize will always happen, so it's kind of like the reason to do it this way. Because if a global doesn't read, and it needs to be, and it something calls for it, and it's not there, it's going to crash a game. So by putting it all in a place where it's guaranteed to be loaded, Golly. No, I should use the delete key. There we go. There we go. So I'm going to change some of these. We've got key pause, that works as escape. I don't know, I'll figure that out later. Key right is this. That's fine. Left. I mean, eventually I am going... I had something set up in my previous game to where you can do key bindings. I'll have to do that again. But I'm not going to do that right now. And this isn't jump, this is now shoot. Down, up, left, right. So strike for shift, block, dodge is F. I don't think... Let me think about the controls that I need. I think it's just up, down, left, right, and shoot. I don't think you ever need anything other than that. There's no like special fire or gun thing or something. Just check that, make sure it's good. Yeah, there's no special like bomb button or anything. And then the shoot button can also be enter. I guess the enter key would be 1. I don't even have it on here, so I will do a global for enter. I'm not gonna bother with gamepad stuff either. Okay, start. Oh, okay. Let's do a global key enter, I guess. Equals VK enter. Okay. So the keys I have right now are the escape key for pause. I'm gonna actually just call this escape because that makes it easier. Instead of shoot, just use space. Like I know what the space bar does. Up, down, left, right. So yeah, these are just set to be letters instead of arrows because that's just, you know, normal. So right should be D. Left will be A. Down should be S, and up would be W. And then I make sure, for now, we're just going to throw that object initialize. Oh, I see. Because I have background selected over here, I got to select instances. Just throw that up here so that it'll do that stuff. On creation, that's fine. I'm just gonna make sure that starts first. Be the first thing created. Later, I'll do that when you actually hit start or whatever to play the game, new game. But for right now, that should be fine. Okay, so we have global variables for our keys using this. And now if I ever want to change keys, I can do it from there. Alright, let's go with the state machine next. I always end up... I never remember the state thing until it's made. Or I've been making a bunch of them. So I always end up opening this up and just copying it. What are these little lines? I don't know. Alright. God, I don't even remember how to do this. It'll come to me. Right. So this is a switch. Okay, I'm remembering this. This is a switch for the state variable, right? And then these are the different states that it could be in. Or that's what state could equal idle, it could equal attack, it could equal death. So that's how you go through these different things. So this first state is going to be, yeah, idle's probably a good way to go. And then, yeah, I just do this for each one that I want. And this way the code runs through a lot less stuff. Alright, so our different states would be left, right, up, down. I'd say, I don't even know if this is necessary, but I think it'll be, once I get like more complicated things, animations changing, I probably will want this. Oh, I never said what state is. We'll put state equals idle. That way we know what state is. I don't know if I actually want to do this, but I'm going to do a speed variable. Instead of doing this plus minus equals 10, we'll use speed. That way I can change the speed as your upgrade changes, and then this will change. Of course, I'm going to swap this later, but for now it'll be fine. I'm also going to want like a drag. I'll figure that out later. Drag being, I want it to, as you're moving, when you let go of the button, you come to a stop slowly instead of instantly. I'll figure that out later, but I'm going to go ahead and just set it up now. There's no gravity in this. You'll stay wherever you're at, so I don't really have to do that, but there will be something that carries your momentum. Shoot, what was this? I already forgot. It's Y minus, so this was up. Global up. No, key up. Alright, global key down. So the reason for doing it this way instead of putting it in directly is I can change these globals by doing like a key bindings menu. So I just set like, if you want your key binding for key right to be J, K, L, whatever, instead of A, S, W, D, setting it all up in this allows it to change in the code where it happens. That's kind of like the reason to do it this way. I'm going to just set that up for the future. And you can save the global variables. Dude, what was this? This was left. He left. There you go. I don't know if I'll use these states right now. Right now, I'll keep it in here, but it's not hurting anything. For now, I don't think it's necessary, because all I have to do is, go if key up and not. I think this works. Right, so this is going to check if the up key is pressed and the down key is not pressed. If the down key was pressed and the up key is pressed, then this would not happen. This wouldn't trigger. It should be how that works. Let me test that real quick. Okay. I gotta do them all to figure out if it works like I think it works. There's another way I could do this, but this will be fine. There's a way to do it like adding different stuff together. But this should be okay. I don't know. I know there's a better way to do this. But if this works, then fuck it. The whole point of this is to make sure if you're pressing two at the same time, you're not getting weird results. Like the whole reason for this. Alright, let's see if that works. Yeah, so this should be working, and then if I press two at the same time, they'll cancel each other out, basically. So you can still do like this, but if you ever hold two directions at the same time, they'll cancel out, and you won't get any weird effects. Like if I didn't do that, you could end up in a situation where your character is moving left, but their sprite is facing right still. So by doing it this way, I just ensure that I can't do that on accident. Okay. I think that's fine. It's not the best way to do it, but it should work. So whatever. And it's such a small game, I don't have to be that optimal. Anyway. So who cares? Alright. I am going to end up using states at some point. So I will keep these in here. It's just not for this kind of thing. It'll be states for like death or different. Honestly, it's the only state it should have is a normal state and a death state, maybe. I don't even know if I'd have any other type of state. If I did that and then threw all this code in the normal state, then I could like turn off the state and turn off the player's control. Because right now, even if you died, it would activate. Okay, yeah, I should do that. Right, so now all the controls are in the idle state. And this isn't going to be idle anymore. This is just going to be living. Alright, so we've got the switch state. In the case that you're alive, you can move and shoot. In the case that you're dead, then something else. Typing's gotten worse. Alright, and if I test that again, that should work fine. Just like it did, because we're in the living state. Yep, nothing's changed. And that way I can just turn the controls off if the player dies and I want them to do like a little animation or something. I don't know if I'm going to need that, but I'll have it if I do need it. Let me check this one. Everything good? Yeah. Okay, cool. We've got that. We've got this. And close that. Okay, so we're working on the enemy. Let's get him working. So, he's not going to have HP. I'm going to give him HP. This is going to be like a standard for enemies, so I guess I'll do it this way. It makes sense. So, for now, HP equals 1, because this guy's only got 1 HP. He will have a state equals idle. States are definitely way more important for enemies than they are for the player, because you switch the enemy through different states to show what they're doing. Though for this enemy, or the first enemy, the jellyfish, it just goes up in the air and then dies when it hits the surface or something. Or maybe swims along the side, I think, when it hits the surface. I'll have to code what the surface is at some point too. It'll be a certain Y coordinate. But that's what all this is for, is to figure that out. So it should go slower than the player can move by just a little bit. Okay. Okay. That should be a basic. I've also got to figure out how these things spawn, because they're supposed to spawn constantly. Oh yeah, there's a lot to think about with this. The way this enemy, or the first one's going to work. This is the jellyfish. So they go from the bottom to the top, and they don't spawn if the player is near the bottom. That was one thing I hated about Jaws, is sometimes a jellyfish would spawn right next to you when you're at the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to make sure if the player's a certain distance down, jellyfish stop spawning. But basically, yeah, they just go up, and then I can do something. I don't know if I'm going to have them move different directions, or I'll just leave that to the octopus. I might just leave that to the octopus. Jellyfish just go up, and they spawn at a random X coordinate, which I'm going to need like a spawner. That, or I just have the same enemy keep coming in. That way there's only a certain amount of it. I think that's the better way to do it. Just have their HP like reset once they're dead or they despawn. Instead of creating multiple objects, I'll just have one object keep resetting its position. Oh, okay. Let me think of how to do this. Let's call this state spawn. And that's where it's going to start at. So the spawn state is where I'm going to decide where it is. Where it spawns. So, okay. X equals random range. Let's say 10 to room width minus 10. So the X coordinate is going to be a random range between 10, which is 10 off the wall, and room width minus 10. So it's going to be 10 off the wall. And 10's probably not enough, because I think this sprite is 82 by 56. So it needs to be at least 82 off the wall. We'll put it at 80 instead. So it has to be at least 80 pixels off the wall in either direction. There we go. Y will always equal, well, Y can equal a range as well. So it's a little bit random. Sure, we'll do that. There's no reason not to. Random range. God, I don't remember what the bottom of the screen. I think the bottom of the screen is room height. We'll find out, but I'm pretty sure. Room height minus let's just do minus 100, and room height minus 500. So it's a random range between 100 and 500 minus the room height. So it should always start below the room height of the room. Alright, so this is going to put it in a random position on the X coordinate, left and right. And then it's always going to put it below the screen a certain amount. So they can start at different parts below the screen. And that spawns it in. And then state equals move. And that'll be the next state. And let's be nice and put our semicolons in. Alright, so next state. I do that, I do this. And that. Alright. So this is the move state. I don't know if I want to make it like fluctuate. I probably do, because it's a jellyfish. It doesn't just go straight up. But right now we'll just go straight up. But the other way, instead of just go straight up, it'll be like move a little, move a little, move a little. But we'll do a straight movement first. So y minus equals speed, and that's it. And then dead while moving, if HP is less than or equal to 0, state equals dead. And then if state equals dead, we'll play death animation, and then state equals spawn. Something like that. And now I need something for if it collides with my player bullet. I'll just do a collision. Alright, so what this does, if I did this right, if it collides with the bullet, it will lower the HP value of the thing that it is, and it will destroy the other instance, which is the bullet. So this should only proc once, lower HP by 1, and bullet goes away. When the bullet hits, it lowers its HP. If its HP is less than 0 or equal to, then it dies, it respawns. Not player death. Oh, it's just play death animation. There we go. Alright, let's test it, but first we need to throw some enemies in. So, these things, it doesn't matter where I put them at, they should just spawn in and do their thing. They can't actually be killed yet. Oh yeah, and that's something I should do is play death animation and drop loot. So they're not actually dying, they're respawning, but they're still dropping their loot and they look like they're dying. But the object's always in there. See, before, I would have made this whole like enemy spawner thing, another object, and it would have been really convoluted. It really doesn't have to be. It's just one object that's constantly going, and it has the illusion that you're killing it, but you're not really. That way it's constantly spawning, and it's a lot less things you have to do. So here, this should work. These guys will do their thing. Of course I gotta shoot it. Oh, but I don't have anything for when it reaches the top of the screen. So right now they're not respawning again if I fail to shoot them. So let's set that up. If Y is less than or equal to, I don't know, let's just say 100. Y, oops, God. Y equals 100. Alright, this isn't a very great way to do this. This should work for now. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm saying as long as the Y is not less than or equal to 100, it'll do it what it was doing before, which is rise, and then once it reaches to less than or equal to 100, it'll set it to 100, and then it'll move along the X coordinate a certain speed, And then what we're going to do is if x is less than negative 50 or negative 60, or x is greater than room width plus 60. Oh, and there's one thing I just noticed I forgot to do. Fix that. Right here. Make sure they're set the HP to equal 1 again. Just in case I killed it. It'll just constantly die if I don't set it back to 1. Okay. I believe this will work. So yeah, if our x is less than negative 60, so it's off the screen on the left, or it's greater than room width plus 60, so off the screen on the right, it'll set it to dead. And that'll cause it to respawn. Alright, let's try that. Right, so when they hit the top of the screen, they should move along this top, and that respawn that until they go off the screen, and then they respawn. And now we can kill them, and they restart at the bottom. So they're not starting off the screen on the bottom, which is what they were supposed to do. So did I do something wrong there? Room height minus 100. Minus, should it be plus? Let's try plus. I always get y coordinate, plus and minus wrong. I think it's plus. Plus would be down more, yeah. So I was backwards. So now it should be below the screen, is where they're spawning from. There we go. So they respawn different intervals, but you can keep killing them. I'm gonna have to speed up the bullets a lot, but this is working fine right now. Now the only other thing I want to do is I want to make the way they go off screen a little different. So yeah, instead of here, they should head based on which side of the screen is closest. I want them to go in that direction. So they'll, you know, if they're here, they'll head to this side of the screen. You have to imagine this top right here is where the surface of the water is. So they're just getting to the surface of the water and then moving off screen. Oh, and then I have to remember to set up to make them not spawn if you're nearby. Okay, that's a few extra things to do. I'm getting tired. We've been streaming for like a couple hours. We'll do a little more. Let's finish this enemy at least. Okay, so this is pretty easy to do. We just say if x is less than room width divided by 2. And do that. I think we want to go that direction. Make this cleaner. else plus equals speed. Okay, so if x is smaller than the room width divided by 2, then it should move in this direction, otherwise it's going to move in the other direction. Let's just test that one real quick. That should work how I think. Alright, so this one should go right, this one should go left when it hits the top. God, I'm so good at this. I should do this professionally. Alright, that worked great. Alright, another one. Alright, so right here I want if, well, this is where I would need a player object. So not having a player object is kind of bad for me right now, but we'll use this temporarily. Temp player. Yeah, if the player's Y is golly. I have so much trouble with the Y coordinate. It's got to be, but I basically want the player's Y to be how do I do this? Oh no, okay, let's do it over here. Yeah, I'm gonna do this a different way. I'm gonna do a different one. Instead of move, we're gonna throw another state in here. Yeah, okay. This is the way to do this. So instead of move, going straight to move, we'll go to something called standby. And in standby, we don't swap to move until the player's Y is not at the bottom of the screen, basically. So, not player, but if temp. Honestly, I should have just called this player instead of temp player. I think player is fine. Player makes things easier. I never use player in anything else, right? So it should be okay. Now we just change this to player. It's going to end up being player regardless. A player Y is... Okay, I want to set this up to where it changes based on what the room height is. So let's say room height minus so less than I hope I'm doing this right, minus 200 and state equals move. Alright, so when I spawn, I go into standby mode, and as long as the player is not within 200 pixels of the bottom of the screen, then it should start moving. That way, if you're at the bottom of the screen, it doesn't spawn on you. Let's see if I did that right. So they are spawning now. Now if I go to the bottom of the screen, actually I made this bottom of the screen a little too big, so I can't even really see this. I should lower my room height real quick. Make this 1,000. And because of the way I set everything up, changing the height shouldn't break any of the code. But we'll actually be able to see it. So as long as I'm here, they shouldn't spawn. Or they shouldn't move. They're spawning, but they shouldn't move until I go up a bit. So there we go. If you're on the bottom of the screen, oh yeah, I never set anything up to make the character stay in the bounds of the screen. I should do that, because otherwise I can do this. Anyway. Yeah, the second I go above 200 pixels, they'll spawn. Or they'll start moving, like that. And that gives you just enough time to not die immediately to them. Well, heck, that's working really well. So that's basic enemy behavior, basic player behavior. We got our sizes kind of figured out. You know, there's some tweaking to be doing. I still can't get hit by it yet, but yeah, we'll figure all that out. So far, we got the idea of a game getting started. I'm gonna keep this at that for now. That makes it easier. I just change that 1 to a 2. But that makes it easier to test until I do the camera. Right, let's go ahead and do this on the player. And the easiest way to do that is go and Y greater than 0 or 100. Whatever the shore is supposed to be, which should be 100, I think. Okay. This one will be, and Y is less than one. I don't know. I'll have to change these numbers later. This isn't right. Not less than 1, it's less than room height minus 1, I think. I probably did this wrong. I'm not really thinking about it that hard. So I'm assuming I did something wrong. But let's just see. Instead of thinking about it, let's just test it. Okay, I can't move. One of them's messed up, and that would be left and right. Left and right's messed up. What about up and down? That works. Oh god. Oh yeah, I can't get hit. Doesn't matter. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Okay, that one's right because that's at 100. The bottom's right. It's just the left and right is incorrect, and this should be a little higher than 1. So. Let's do like 20. And then this is just probably backwards. Let's try that. I'm just setting up some room boundaries real quick. There we go. That's better. That's actually perfect. There we go. That's good. That's good. Okay. Easy. Cool. So now he can't go off the screen. And he still stays on the screen just a little bit, and he stays below the shore, which I set the shore as 100 for now. Well, the top of the water, not shore. Alright, the other thing was colliding with the player. We'll have to set that up so we can die. But honestly, we're doing fine. So I need to think. Go ahead and save this. Is this one? I need to think what I need to do going forward. And to do that, I'm going to do it my favorite way. I'm going to put it in this notepad. So that was that. Let's do a little divider here. So this is like an outline. Let's design game with basic art. And by that I mean make, I don't know. We should be able to make all the enemies. I mean, without doing any artwork at all. I should be able to make all the enemies and get them working. I'm not going to do the boss until later. I really want to draw the boss till I understand what he does, I think. So no reason to code him too much. We want to make overworld map. We want that to work. And then, yeah, we'll make different areas. So we'll set up how the different areas are, even though I don't have artwork for them. I'll at least make the areas. So we'll be able to like move around the overworld map, go into a different area, and then set up all the enemies that are going to be in it. I'll leave the boss out until after I have artwork. I think that makes sense. We won't worry about boss stuff just yet. But I can make all these different locations. I can have all the AI behavior for all these enemies. I'll also save, I don't know, I might work on mini games before I do art. Yeah, I think we'll make mini games in here. We'll definitely want the death after. We want to figure out these three first, and then we'll figure out death state. And I really don't have to do make, but whatever, we already started it. I don't know. Death, yeah, we'll just death state. Death dyslexia. Right, so I should be able to design all the enemies, make an overworld map and the different stage areas, locations, and then a death state so that when you die in an area, it kicks you back out to the overworld or whatever. I probably want to make upgrades. I haven't really figured out how the port works, but it's got to have some sort of like basic shopping menu. So I might want to figure out how that's going to work for purchasing upgrades. Yeah, okay, let's do... We'll make the port shop so we can at least... I mean, we're not going to have any artwork, but we can do like some basic text stuff and like a way to select so you can buy stuff. And then I think once all that's done, I can start doing artwork and start fleshing out more of the stuff, and I'll understand things a bit. So yeah, I don't know, that's good progress so far. Real quick, we made a basic game already. We can't get hurt, which is the next most important step, because you need a failure state for it to be a game. But everything else is working. I'll just have to do some stuff with the movement, make sure that there's momentum on the movement, and change the speed so that they work better. But so far I kind of like the speed of it. The bullets definitely need to be faster. Yeah, I think we're off to a good start. One thing I'm gonna do is I just thought of this. Let me do this real quick. Let's go to this enemy sprite. That's not the sprite. I'm gonna edit this image and make it white. Okay. The reason I'm gonna do that. Okay, so instead of temp enemy, we're gonna call you what you actually are, which is jellyfish. And then create, we're gonna do image blend equals, I don't remember how to do colors, it's C blue. Yep, there we go. I'm gonna make it cyan, C cyan. Isn't cyan a color? Oh shit. Teal? I think it's teal. There we go. So this will make my little enemy be blue instead, or a bluish green. There we go. And this way I can color all my enemies to be different colors so we know what they are without having to do any of the artwork yet. Well, this is just great. I'm happy. Everything's going great. We'll save that, and then I'm going to end the stream here. That was some basic stuff. How the game gets started. Oh, this is exciting. God, if I do this every day. My throat is killing me, by the way. I've only been talking for like an hour or two. So that's what happens when you don't stream in a long time or talk to anybody. But yeah, heck, I could probably do this in a month or two. And yeah, we'll just try and sell it. And who knows, maybe that'll get me enough money. I won't have to go back to work. And I can make the next game and go back to working on Gazard, which is what I would like to do, but I just don't. There's no way I'm going to finish Gazard before I run completely out of money, so I figure I'm going to do a small game instead until then. But whatever. That's it. Later.